My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you for downloading the 5F's app. Well, welcome to another session of the 5F's to Love. I'm going to say this is probably going to be the most impactful conversation that we've had so far. Oftentimes you wonder whether or not you're attractive enough, or whether something that's happened to you in previous years with your health will impact you meeting someone, or even maintaining your current relationship. Today we're going to have a conversation, of course, with my co-host Reggie, but we have two amazing guests. So Reggie, hello. I'm really excited about today. Are you excited about today?
I can't wait. This is a conversation that needs to be brought out in the open and had so people can not only hear, receive, and partake. I'm really interested in hearing what the podcast viewers are going to comment on or have questions about.
I'm really excited too, because I think over the past, I'm going to say 15 to 20 years, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people as it relates to making physical alterations to their body to attract the opposite sex, to physical things that have impacted them and they may not be able to perform at the level that they did or want to, right? And whether that's going to impact them being in a relationship with someone. So I think this is just a real conversation, because even in relationships, people have gotten divorces over people's health issues or inability or how it physically kind of manifested, right? So that's going to be interesting. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, one of our guests, when I say to you, she is a beauty queen. She spends so much time on appearance, and most people will think that she does it intentionally, but it's not. She's just one of those people. She's very meticulous about what she looks like at all times, and she's pretty much flawless. Like, I've never seen her messy, and I've known her for a couple years now, so I'm really excited. She works out all the time. She eats well. She's an amazing Black owner, entrepreneur of a item that I think should be in every grocery store, but she also runs her own magazine. So let's bring her in and introduce her to everyone so they can see her fabulousness. Anastasia, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am absolutely amazing. And as always, you're flawless. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You're always flawless.
Thank you so much for having me. I've learned from the best you. So well.
I know, and I just want to say, you work out quite a bit, which we're going to find out more about that in the session, but I can't wait till people get to learn more about you. Just to let you guys know, she's an amazing social media branding and marketing person. She markets herself so well and does such a great job at it, and I'm always really excited to see what she comes up with next. So right now, we're having a slight difficulty with Dr. Emmanuel. We kind of lost him a little bit. I know he's going to get back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the conversation with you, Anastasia, and then when he comes back, we're going to bring him in. So our conversation today is your appearance and your health. And the thing is, how is it impacting someone's life, sexually, physically, when it comes to health? And so I know when you're dating, and as ladies, we've dated, guys who may have various issues, and we'll get into that later. But what is some of the things that you do in order to assure that it's not impacting you in the same way? Like, what things do you do for yourself every day to keep yourself fit?
Number one thing, yes, I believe, is hydration. So I have to have enough fluid. absorb.
You know what, Anastasia, give us 1 second. Your audio keeps going out. Can you check your audio for me?
Okay. Can you hear better now?
Yep.
Okay, so it was sitting on something.
Okay.
I said yes. So the first thing for me is always hydration and sundrating, which is, I just believe in when you're hydrated, you have enough fluids in your body, you can think clearly, you can operate, better. So for me, my first rule of thumb of everything is always drinking enough water, getting enough rest, and absorbing enough sun.
I love that. Okay, so Dr. Emmanuel is back. So I want to introduce him. And so I'm going to say right away to our female viewers, you guys have now someone else to chat about other than Reggie. So Dr. Emmanuel, and ladies, let me just start with this before we even get going. Please do not ask me whether or not he's available. You guys ask a lot of questions about Reggie, like he's amazing and all that kind of stuff. So let me just say before we even get started, Dr. Emmanuel is not available before we even get started. So I want you guys to keep nice comments in there. Of course, you can say he's handsome. And as always, you guys constantly agree with Reggie. But so Dr. Emmanuel, what we were talking about was, the impact that someone's physical appearance or health may make on a relationship. And we were talking to Anna, and one of the things that she shared with us was that she stays hydrated. She has absolutely amazing, flawless skin. So I think that's like a huge plus as far as health, to drink a lot of water. So what's your perspective on how health or a person's physical appearance can impact a relationship?
I believe like wholeheartedly 100% that it impacts it greatly. I myself take pride in making sure that I consistently work out. And also as Ms. King said as well too, that hydration piece, what you eat is who you are.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think that when you feel good, you look good, and it adds to your relationship, and it's just overall your physical appearance means a lot. It's what people see first, right? And I always say this is your money maker, so it's what people see.
I love it that you said moneymaker. And for people who don't know this, Reggie spends so much time in the gym. And like I said before, and I'll say it over and over again, the only thing that has changed since Reggie and I met in college is now he has gray. Other than that, Reggie looks exactly the same,
Yes.
which is concerning to me because I don't look exactly the same. So Reggie plays basketball on a regular basis, and he goes to the gym, he works out, and he eats extremely healthy, which kind of sometimes is kind of freakish, right? If you're going out with him, and he's amazingly slim, like he's just slim. So Reggie, talk about your regiment that you do. Like a lot of people may not know at your age, and I say your age because if you want to throw it out, you can throw it out. That you're in the
Oh,
gym as much as you are.
Well, I'm very proud to say that I'm 53 years old. I just turned 53 a couple of weeks ago. I still do play a decent amount of basketball, and I try to get in the gym and lift a few days a week. Not as much here lately as I would like to, but for me, about 10 years ago, I got diagnosed with diabetes. So the diabetes thing is probably the hardest thing physically I had to endure my whole life. Your diet has to completely change. Hydration is hugely important. Um, just your workouts are important. So part of me trying to regulate my diabetes is maintaining physical standards of diet and workout. But even before then, I love the gym. I love the gym. I feel great being at the gym, and I feel absolutely amazing coming from the gym. And part of me staying in the same size that I've been for all these years, I'm cheap. I don't like buying a whole bunch of new.
Reggie, let it go. You better give some of it to metabolism. Don't blow it up, Reggie. Don't even act like it's all in what you do because, honey, a lot of it's metabolism. Trust me. I'm going to tell you, I go to the gym, but my trainer has to be really mean to me. He cannot be soft and nice to me. The minute he says, "Oh, Christine, you're looking good," it's downhill. Just don't do it. You need to say to me, girl, you're chunky. Get it together. You got work to do. What is that? You're gaining weight. What is that? Extra fat roll? Like, you need to be mean to me. That's the only reason that I'm going to work hard. So I don't know. Like, so Anastasia, are you like that? Do you feel like you got to put that extra in to make it happen?
Yeah, for me, I do. I'm always I'm very critical on myself, but I also try to make sure like I'm not striving to be perfect because no one's perfect, right? And I feel like if you're striving to be perfect, when it comes to that sense, you will make a lot of errors. So I just try to manipulate things that and look how I want to look for me, and and be comfortable in my skin, and go from there. But yeah, the gym, it's all about being healthy from inside, and your inside reflecting on your outside.
I think that's really good. And I think also I want to let the viewers know that the two men are married and the two ladies are single. So our conversation today is going to be really a little different than norm, because normally you have at least one female and one male that's married. Reggie and I are co-hosts, and I always give the single perspective, and he always gives the married perspective. And we both come from the view sometimes of a guy perspective.
Hmm.
For if you know me, then you know why, because I'm not really the most girly person. But the thing is, tonight our questions are going to be hot and ready. So what we're going to do is to make sure we get things started. The first thing I want to say is hello to all of our viewers. Anything that you place in comments, we will respond to those questions in real time. So be sure to ask any questions during the session and we can entertain them for you. So we're going to go with our questions tonight. And of course, as always, before we go to our questions, I need to do my disclaimer. Before we go to our questions, I need to do my disclaimer. The disclaimer is anything that Reggie says and does cannot be held, the 5S brand cannot be held responsible. You can contact Reggie directly with any questions or concerns that you have. So we can go to our first question, please, and scroll that. So our first question is I'm sorry, I can't help them. How do you correlate physical health with sexual attraction? And I'm going to, Dr. May, I'm going to start with you.
Well, no, that's a wonderful question. As I think all of us mentioned earlier, it just it's something that you can apply to your life. And when you think about whether being single or married, right, it's important because, again, going back to that moneymaker piece, right, going back to the way that you, when you feel and you have that wellness piece about you, is critical, right, to that sexual attraction piece. And you think about when you go to the beach, and all of us have a preference on how we want to look when we go to the beach. We sometimes spend maybe the winter time when we're trying to get our bodies in shape because we know summer is coming around the corner, right? And again, that is the first thing that you can kind of lead with, again, what people see. But it's very, very important to align that. If you want to look good, you need to feel good. So that's important as far as what you eat, what you drink, what you feel like emotionally and mentally as well too. All that plays in your physical attraction, which leads to sexual attraction.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think for me, you want to, we all want to live long life with someone, right? And of course, we can't. Certain things come up in your life, but when it's something that you can take control of, that's what I have an issue with. So if there's a fact where a point where you're overweight and all you need to do is modify your food, change your diets or something like for the betterment of you, you essentially, then why not?
I like that. So I think, so Reggie, I'm very sure right now you're on the edge of your seat. Don't fall off. Don't. And by the way, do I need to do a disclaimer before you respond?
No. We're going to keep it PG-13.
Okay.
I think that we have a tendency in relationships to discount the the largeness of physical attraction. Unless you were dating someone that you used to work with, usually physical attraction was the sole reason that one person approached the other person across the room. It wasn't because of your wonderful personality. It wasn't because your outstanding, diversified portfolio. It
Right.
wasn't because, you know, your degrees or your accomplishments. It was because, damn, you know what I mean? It was that, damn, look at that. He is fine. Oh, he is fine. You know, whatever your preference may be, physical attraction was the thing that made me go across the room and say, hello, how are you? What is your name? My name is this. And upon that one thing, you started a relationship. And that's any and all relationships. You know, they started at that moment. Now, where they grew from there, of course, a lot of things had to come into play. And just because a lot of things come into play doesn't mean that we throw away what started the whole thing in the beginning.
Okay, but do you think at some point it gets to a point where you feel like it's unrealistic expectations? I think oftentimes when people get married and you've had children, so you met your wife, she was the aha, right? You met your husband, he was the aha. Time went on and life experience hit you, right? You're not going to be that same aha. And I find that oftentimes people begin to look at something new when they feel that the item that they do have doesn't shine as much as it used to, right? So I'm going to say this. I'm in my 50s now. I know that whomever I end up with at this point, I would like him to be physically healthy because I'm physically conscious about my health and my appearance. But I'm not going to put a lot of, how can I say, a lot of money on it. I mean, he may be a little bit out of shape. I'm 50, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to totally walk away from him because of that. But I think men have an unrealistic expectation. And Anastasia, you can speak to this about women. I mean, we have children. We've gotten older. We're working. I mean, I would love to be Beyonce,
Yeah,
right?
for
I
sure.
don't think Beyonce would look like Beyonce if she got up every day and ran an IT consulting firm and she had to climb in the ceilings and wire buildings,
Yeah.
right? She wouldn't look like Beyonce. But my thing is, I look like this and I do all that every day, right?
Look
So those
beautiful,
are my
first
questions.
of
Like,
all.
yeah. So, like, are you really holding me to the Beyonce level? Because,
Yeah.
honey, Beyonce put them heels on and drop it like it's hot because that's all she do. She work out just to do that in heels. The woman works out in heels just to do that. If you ask me to put on some heels and drop it, I'm not coming back up.
I'm not coming back.
I'm gonna put my hand out and say, "Babe, what's up? Are you helping me?" I'm not coming back up. I'm gonna drop and I'm gonna be there. Okay. And that does that make me less attractive, Dr. Emmanuel? Because I can't drop it and bring it up. That make me less attractive.
No, I don't think it makes you less attractive. I think it goes back to preference, right? Everybody has their preference of what they want. Now, again, there is a thing that is such as unrealistic expectations. Again, you mentioned childbirth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a critical moment in a woman's life, and it's very important to consider that. Now, on the other hand, I think as a husband, you have to support and encourage, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you want to see. It's not a thing of bashing. It's not a thing of making your significant other feel less than. But it's still, you want to take an approach of promoting a healthy lifestyle and becoming as fit as you can. And I think Anastasia mentioned earlier, it's not about being perfect, right? We're none of
Yeah.
us are perfect. We all have trouble areas on our bodies. But again, are you putting your best foot forward to look as best as you can for your spouse or your significant other? That's what I look at it as.
Okay, I just want to say, I want to applaud your wife. You answered that in a very diplomatic way. You didn't really go too far left or too far right. You were just like, do what you got to do to keep it together.
Do what
And,
you got
and,
to
and your
do.
spouse is going to love and appreciate you. I'm not saying you need to look like Beyonce, but
No.
I'm
Yeah.
not really trying to lay up with a hippo, right? You didn't do that. So I appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. So Reggie, I need you to learn from this. I
I
wouldn't have a disclaimer if I knew what you were going to say, Reggie.
no, no, and I agree completely with Mr. Dr. Emmanuel. The thing is, and I had to learn this later on in my. I learned it later on. I should have learned it early on. is what he said, to be an encourager, be a supporter, and not bash. Because I was very, very, very critical early on in my life, even early on in my marriage, and I learned that some of the things I said created some wounds and created some scars, and that I have since apologized for and hope that I've been forgiven for. However, one of the things that happens with men in regards to women having children is we got a kid in middle school and we talking about this is from the baby.
Really, Reggie? Do I need to do it almost?
No. You know, realistically, you know, stop blaming the baby. Stop blaming the adolescent for something that for which you didn't put in the work. Now, I will say this: men always want their wives to look like, you know, they just got out of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. However, our expectations aren't realistic right after you had a baby, as we have and gained further responsibilities. All we're asking to do is, if you know, and anyone who works out can tell you this: if you have a consistent daily regimen of hydration, watching what you eat, and 15 to 20 minutes of walking a day, most of that.
I'm gonna mute Reggie in about 10 seconds. Reggie, some people don't have that 10 minutes. Literally today, I've been up since 2 a.m. and this is the first time I've sat down.
We do.
Wow.
We do. But here's the deal. If you go to the, I've been in the hospital for health reasons, and been
Reggie,
before.
Reggie, Reggie, really?
Quiet. It's
this is why we have to do a disclaimer. We're going to question number 2, Reggie. We talked about this before. Really? You get 2 minutes, Reggie.
You're going to get that 10 to 15 minutes of workout in either.
Oh my God, I can't even take it.
Or the reason you come out that.
Go to question number 2. Reggie, I'm going to question number 2 because I told you got 2 minutes. Reggie would go into a synopsis and I end up having to edit the thing because he's doing something probably inappropriate. By the way, everybody, Reggie did go in the hospital for health reasons, but I'm glad he's okay. So our next question is, if you're married, would your spouse appearance have a greater or lesser impact on how you feel about them sexually?
Yes.
That's the question. So would it have a greater or lesser impact? So it kind of lends to what we were just talking about. So is it a greater or lesser impact if you were married?
It is a greater impact because, you know, like I said earlier, I don't want to be perfect, but I want to strive to be better. So once we become one, we have to be great together.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, and just think about it from this perspective. What about after you got married? What if there was some physical limitations that you found out that your husband wasn't able to continue to go to the gym?
Well, then we'll just have to modify the diet. We have to do what we need to do, because gaining weight and getting unhealthy and developing diabetes or whatever it is just not in the question.
It's not an option. I like that.
Not an option, no.
Okay, Reggie, if you promise to give a short answer, I'm going to ask you. If you don't, I'm going to mute you. Now, what's your response, Reggie? I'm going to mute you.
It is hugely important, and not just because of the physical attraction. It's because for husbands and wives, when you get married, you not only have to deal with your spouse, now you have to combat all the other distractions and attractions that are trying to sway your eye. And when you come home, it's always good, not just physically, emotionally, and spiritually, to be able to connect with your spouse. Because just because you're married don't mean other people don't find you attractive anymore. And doesn't mean that other people don't find your spouse attractive anymore. So you need to be able to keep your spouse's eye and their attention on you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Dr. Emmanuel, what are you saying? And Dr. Emmanuel, don't always shake your head in agreement with Reggie, okay? Our ladies who are watching, they have a lot to say, so don't always agree with them.
I got you. No, I think all of you all are solid, but no, I agree with both answers thus far. I think it's important, and I'll take the thing off of, or the light off of, like, my wife, right? Even myself. One of the reasons why I try and put that effort towards working out is because I do want to look good for her. Like, I'm like, look, it's other younger guys out here, older guys out here that look great, and I'm like, look, I want to make sure that my wife has eyes for me. You
Yeah.
know, I can run with the best of them, and
Yeah.
so I think that if I'm going to require that out of her, I should put my best foot forward and require that out of myself.
I like that. And thank you for your quick and short response. Other people need to work on theirs. Okay, question number 3. Okay, I have to tease Reggie because you guys have no idea. Reggie makes me laugh most days. Honestly, he really does. Okay, so, as we continue to talk about what it is happening, do you think there is more pressure or expectations when you're dating in a relationship or when you're married to maintain your physical appearance or health? And I say that because you work really hard when you're single, right, to make it happen. And then I find that a lot of times once you get the person that you want to be with, you kind of fall off, you slip a little bit, right? So the question is it more pressure on you to maintain that when you're dating, or is it more pressure to maintain it after you're married?
I would say dating would be more pressure because I feel like when you're dating, you're still getting to know someone. By the time you've got married, you kind of know them. You should know them, So I feel like it's so much easier for you to get out of something when you're dating, or you to get turned off about something when you're dating versus when you're married. When I was dating and something I don't really rock with, I could just easily be like, bye, you know. Versus being married, it's like, listen, we got to work this out.
Right. You can't just walk out on them when you're
Yeah.
married to them. And honestly, even when you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship, to me, to me, a committed relationship is just as serious sometimes as a marriage.
Yeah.
I know people who've been in committed relationships for 5 years, right? So to me, it's just in a relationship period. How are you looking at that? So, Dr. Emmanuel, what's your perspective on that? But did you work harder before you were married? Or are you like at the same level?
Personally, myself, I think it's been more at the same level. I do agree with Anastasia. I think when you're in a relationship, because you're getting to know that person, everybody's always, it's kind of like that sweet spot, that putting your best foot forward each and every day. And then when you get married, some people get relaxed. You do, and you just kind of now when I eat, I'm gonna go to sleep, and so I'll go to the gym next week. And so, but I definitely think that it's a little bit more pressure when you're dating, because you're trying to land that person. You're trying you're trying to get that relationship. So.
Reggie, did you work out? And I agree with you 100%. Reggie, did you work harder when you were courting your wife, or do you work the same?
It's about the same. As far as time in, when you're dating, you have more personal time to do things when you're not seeing each other, versus when you're married, you have so much what's going on in the household, and you have kids. Your time is lessened tremendously. But I think the pressure, I think the focus more is on dating, but the pressure is when you're married, because those expectations kind of get slippery and they fall down. When you was dating, dudes had the silk boxers on, and she always had a fresh negligee. And now,
right,
like, dude,
that's the t-shirt.
The elastic is worn out in the boxers, and we walking around in sweats, and that's a huge problem, because you have to maintain that, and the time is not always there to maintain.
And that's the thing, is not. So one of our viewers, by the way, hey Nicole, hey girl. Nicole says, I agree. Once you've married, things, tend to be a little bit different, right? In a relationship. And the thing is that I want us to start taking a closer look at that. And then, like you said, Reggie, I don't know if it's due to time or whatever the perspective is, but it does. I mean, at that point, you're involving perhaps children. You may be looking at working more hours at your job, or maybe you started a new company, so that just requires a little bit more of your time. You may have a kid with health issues, right? Or with special needs, and you got to put time in it. Or like some people, they get married and one of their parents get physically ill, right? So you got to start taking care of parents, and then you're married, and then you're going to work every day. So it's a lot of those demands, and I feel sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. Now, I'm going to tell you, for me, at this point, I'm 50. I just want to be perfectly clear. I do have an expectation for you to have some sexiness about you, right?
Mhm.
Now, if that means we need to do a little work, you know what I'm saying? Then we need to do a little work. But
Mhm.
I'm not going to nip you. And I will nip you for one small thing, though. Just for one small major thing. It's major. It's major to me and small to other people. If you are unwilling, if you're unwilling to work out with me, if you're unwilling to cook healthy with me, if
Yeah.
you want to continue just to do whatever you're doing, that's going to make me just walk away, because at this point, you're halfway through your life. We should be doing whatever we need to do to live, the rest of these days in better health, right?
Right.
And the other thing is, by the time I'm 60, I'm hoping I'm still having amazing sex. But if I don't meet anybody until I'm 60, then sex may not be as serious, right? I
Mhm.
may just it may I may be focused on somebody just holding my hand. Um, but that's the thing, you just need to be more realistic. So our next question, and I want us to really start thinking about, our response to this question, because it's pretty serious. And it's serious in the sense that you want to make sure that you answer this in the most realistic way. And so our question is, name one thing you find physically and or sexually stimulating about your spouse or person or potential person that you would be dating. So this is something, just name one physical and or sexual stimulating thing about your spouse or potential mate or person you're dating. So Reggie, we're going to start with you. I know, right? Why does he do the aha moment? Like, what? What is happening? So Reggie, I'm going to start with you.
One of the things that I find sexy about, it's a warm embrace and and a peck on the lips. I find that to be very intimate, intimate, and not just sexual, but intimate. And of course, it doesn't really at that moment go into sex. However,
Mhm.
it does set the stage.
Okay, I like that. So our viewer, Nicole, she says, I believe women have traditionally more forgiving, but uh, but the tables have turned. Women today want you to bring the sexiness, etc. So I think, Nicole and I, we talk. Both of us are entrepreneurs, and we have pretty successful businesses, and we work a lot. But one of the things we constantly say is that it would be great to come home and a guy just pampers you. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking that maybe you ordered an amazing meal. You don't have to cook it. That you ordered an amazing meal and just make me feel like I'm beautiful. I mean, you work really hard to run your company and you're managing staff. And in a way, you're playing that masculine role. You're the leader. I don't want to come home and be the leader.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to come home and just somebody just love me,
Yeah.
and just give me a hug and kiss me on my forehead and say, you know what, you're pretty. And that'll go a long way with me, right? So Nicole and I, we say that a lot to one another. So come on, King, give it to me. What you got?
So yeah, for me, I'm a physical person, so I like the art of human bodies. So I like a nice physique. You don't have to have a six pack and all of that, but I just like something, I can look at across the room and admire. Um, so that's for me. I want to see something.
Okay.
I want
Or
action.
You want action. Okay, so Dr. Mayer, where are you at? Because I just want to say your wife can hear everything you're saying.
Right, right. For me, when it comes to the physical, I'm a definitely a natural type of guy when I'm looking at a woman. So the eyes and a nice smile, right? I always loved long hair since I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, right? And so that physical piece was what I was looking for in a woman. And I think that as you think about the intimacy, it's a warm embrace, definitely, and some food smelling good when I come through the door from work.
Reggie, sit
Listen,
back, Reggie.
listen.
Um,
That right there, like you said, to go a long way. Gotta have me ready to pull
For
some
the
money out
bill.
my pocket.
and you know what? And I will agree with you. I think a lot of women who work as hard as men do, it's the same expectation. You know, a lot of times when you're married, that hot meal is not coming from one person or the other because everybody's exhausted when they get home.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you one of the things that I really like for me is I'm not so much about a person's physical appearance, but I like a man that's confident. Confidence can do it for me.
Yeah.
If you got it, honey, and you can look at Christine and make Christine simmer down, then you got something happening, right?
Mhm.
But it's got to come with like a 6'1" package. So the thing is, you can't be my height doing this. You got to be taller than me. I always tell people you got to be this tall to ride this ride, right? Because I need a big man. Because sometimes I'm gonna need you to look down at me like, girl, listen, right? I'm one of those women. You just need to give me the look, and I'm gonna quiet right up and say, you know what, honey, you're right. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to you. But I'm gonna tell you, it's hilarious because I think a lot of times women get a little offended. So I just want to say to you guys, I'm gonna have to get up because we have someone who wrote a whole book, and I want to say it's my buddy Matt, who I absolutely love. So hey, Matt. So Matt said, be careful what you ask for. It is real out here in these streets. Simply being married increases the way women look at you and approach you. If you work too hard to maintain your sexy while married, how are you going to fall into the 50% of couples divorced? No, sexy while married, how are you going to not, I'm sorry, fall into the 50% of couples divorce? If you like, it says, if you like it, so will everyone else who doesn't like 6 feet, six pack. Oh my, he's talking to me right now because we had that conversation earlier. I like 6 feet with a six pack with six figures, right? I'm just saying, I like 666. Who's ever listening? And if you're 666, call me. Okay, so I mean, I do want that, but the other thing is, and Matt, I love Matt. Matt is actually he has this great business where he coaches women into being bride, and it's called Bride Ready. And he will be on the 5 F's to Love. He'll run a series the third Friday. The third Friday of every month, because we really want to encourage people to get into relationships. People like me, people like King, I want to be married, and sometimes I may think I'm bride ready, but I may not, especially if I need somebody 6 foot looking down on me so that I'll simmer down sometimes. So so Dr. Emmanuel, with what you were saying, have you found that over the years, um, that physical and or sexual attraction, that one thing that brought you to your wife, like that touch thing, has that increased or decreased when you guys started having kids? Did you find there was a difference when you start adding other elements into the relationship? Because you got little people, you
Yeah.
don't have older people, you got little people running around. And by the way, he's an excellent father, by the way. I just want to make it clear he's an excellent father, but I just wanted to, how did that change the dynamics of your relationship?
Oh, it changed it quite a bit, and I'll say, if you've been married for any length of time, you understand that seasons happen,
Yeah.
and so you go through those different seasons to where you got your highs and you got your lows, and especially when you, as you mentioned, you start bringing little people into it, your wife's body changes. She's going through some different hormones and things that you have to be considerate of. And as Reggie mentioned earlier, like you as men, you don't always have that forethought. because sometimes you want what you want. You want your wife, and so it's definitely, you have to be mindful, and you have to think consciously of trying to make sure that there's other ways to get fulfillment than just to go into the physical. And so but it definitely changes in seasons.
Before we go to the next viewer question, I want to talk to you guys about something that's really real out here. There are a lot of married men, and number one, I know this is not either of you, because I know you guys are outstanding in your relationships that you're in, but there are so many men out here right now that, I kid you not, have girlfriends.
Yes,
and they're married, and they have legitimate long-term girlfriends. And so, to Matt's point, Matt is like, if you're doing all of these things to keep yourself physically fit, at some point you're going to fall into that 50% of people going through a divorce, because if you're working that hard to look that sexy and you don't feel that your spouse is measuring up, you're going to go look for that attention from someone else, right? And so I'm asking you and Dr. Emmanuel that amongst your friends, what are these? Hi, Dr. Emmanuel's wife. Am I getting 2 for 1 over there?
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Emmanuel, move it. Let it move in some more, honey. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Okay,
Oh,
honey. Okay, Dr. Emmanuel, I saw that hair, honey. That ponytail swing. I see what's going on. Okay, but wait a minute. Viewers, give us a second. Where's the baby?
Oh, he's right here sleeping.
Okay, he's sleeping?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. So I was about to say I want to see the baby. Okay, so before we get started, so what I'm going to say is, and Dr. Emmanuel, you let your wife answer one of these questions too, because she's probably had to almost choke a couple people up. Okay, I already know that went down, but I'm going to get to her in a minute. So the thing is, you guys are married, right? And when you think about that, you're spending so much time and you guys are still looking amazing. I know women are approaching you. I know women are approaching your friends. I know this is happening, right?
Yeah.
So when Matt said, a part of the 50% of the people going through divorces, does that play a factor that you're working so hard keeping your physique together that you're pushing people off of you? And sometimes it could make your spouse feel a little intimidated, right?
Mm.
A little like, am I enough for you? Kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like for you guys? Oh, not you, Dr. May. I'm trying to get to your wife over here first.
There you go.
Honey, have you had to almost choke some people up?
I would say, it can be challenging, especially after having, a baby, and just like, what you go through with trying to get back and feeling the pressure of wanting to get back. Am I doing what's needed? Is he still attracted to me? It can be challenging, I guess, for me, because it's so soon. Our baby just turned 1. And so I do try to like maintain a good physique, one, just for myself, because I want to feel good. I want to look good. But then 2, because you're right. Like, my husband is a great looking guy. He also works out, and I don't want, he's awake now. I don't want there to be any other temptation outside of me. I don't want to be like, I'm not doing what I need to do to keep my husband attracted to me, So it can be challenging. It can be a lot, especially when you're juggling, mom, business, work, and then wife, and I'm trying to keep it together. It can be a lot.
And I'm very sure it has. I know for myself, and King, whenever she leaves the house and she walks into a building, everybody stops. So you may not know who she is, but she's like, honestly, I've never seen her take a bad picture. Her social media rivals any woman's I've ever seen. She's always out. She's a fashion diva. But I know over the years in knowing her, she's had to push people back and say, hey, you're married. Thank you for the compliment, but you're married. Right. And she's done that. And so, like, you can speak to that, because to her point, like, here's a wife who's like, look, I'm doing all I can do. I got a 1-year-old at home. And then I still got to fight in the street to prove my love, right? I still got to fight in the street. And she need to know she got some ride or dies out here who got her back even though they don't know her. Like every woman is not going to pick your husband apart. So King, you talk to that because a lot of men do approach you.
Sure, and the sad thing is that a lot of them don't even tell you that they're married, right? So for me, a lot of guys think I have a lot of guys, so therefore I have no guys. But for me, I have to, I just investigate. I'll ask you, you married? Let me see your social media. Well, who is this? Who would know? Okay, well, you separated. Call me when you're divorced because don't nobody feel like no drama. But being a single woman in the industry that I'm in, it does make it very uncomfortable at times. Even doing business with men, because even if they're married, they're still sometimes still trying to figure out a way, or how can, what is this person open for. But I just think as a woman, we just have to set our tone. I believe women rule the world, and I feel like men they can't do what they want to do if we don't allow them to.
I agree with you. One of our viewers, again, I love Nicole. She makes me laugh. She said, Christine, that is very true. It's definitely a lot of men out here like that, and the wives are aware. And so that's another thing that concerns me, because when you think about people who have open marriages, and I think one of our well-known couples out there, Jada and Will Smith, Will finally admitted that they do have an open marriage. And it wasn't so much Jada, right, who wanted that type of relationship. He went into it like, this is what's happening, and she kind of accepted it, right? So the thing is that it's kind of offsetting that some people are actually open to sharing their spouse. I mean, how would you handle that if Dr. Emmanuel came to you and just said to you, oh, well, somebody's getting punched in the throat, right?
It's not happening.
Oh, hi, baby.
That's my 5-year-old. It's not happening. And we've talked about this. Like, I know that some of your friends, they do what they do, and that's cool, but I won't tolerate that as a wife. I know my worth. It's okay if I have 2 boys. I know how to pick up the pieces, but if that's something that you want to do, let me know, and we can go on our way and let you do whatever it is that you want to do. But I will not tolerate that in my marriage.
I applaud you 100%. Well, listen, it's the ladies now. I'm going to the next question because now we're about to get down to the business. You tell Dr. Emmanuel to take care of the baby. We all right. And we took Reggie out. So I'm not even worried about it, honey. Okay, so how would you handle if your spouse or person you're dating had health limitations that impacted your sex life? Now, I asked that question because I think a lot of people don't realize there are a lot of health issues that men have that will push them into being, I don't know, unable to perform sexually in the bedroom. And I've had a lot of wives stick in, and I've also had a lot of wives leave. Right? So the thing is, how much do you love that person? So, King, I'm going to start with you. If you were married or in a long-term relationship and something happened that your spouse wasn't able to perform sexually, how would you handle that?
Okay, my first question would be sexually forever or for a period of time?
Well, okay, so for men, unless they're getting a pump, it might be forever. I'm just saying, it just depends on what. I mean, it just certain things impact it. It may not work until they can get doctor assistance or surgical assistance, like medical prescription or surgical support. So it depends. I mean, I get your question, but yeah.
Okay, so for me, that answer, because I can give you 3 different answers.
I want all 3.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say this: if I'm at the age that I am now, and you have some, and I'm married, and you have some situation where you can't perform, we're gonna try to do what we can to work it out, to change diet. We're gonna invest. We're gonna take herbs. We're gonna do this, do that, and if all that has failed at the age that I'm at now, we're gonna have to make some arrangements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the next one? What's your next response?
So if I'm older, right? Because I feel like, the older you get, the less sex you may have, right? So say if I'm in my 70s, because I plan on getting it all the way till I'm in my 78, I want to be doing it.
You're like, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Yeah, when I
Okay.
get in my 70s and he's not able to, then it's fine. We could just kiss and color in a coloring book and watch a movie. It's fine then. But at this age, it is not fine at all.
Okay. All right, so Dr. May, I'm sorry you came back because your wife is getting ready to tell you the truth about what's really about to happen. So I just want to say, I'm doing her disclaimer. I think she really does love you, but you're about to hear the truth and don't take it personally.
I got you.
So let's just act like he's not there. Let's go ahead with this conversation.
Man, that is a hard question. Because we're still young, right? So let's say it happens tomorrow, we're in our mid-30s, and ideally, we married for better or for worse. And ooh, that is a tough question. Okay, so I agree with Miss King. Like,
let me move. Let her answer that.
She's like, I really don't want to tell him what I was y'all know. I love him, but I'm gonna be out. But that's okay, honey. We with you, honey. In my 30s, I would have said it too. Look, you better hope it keeps up because I'm out.
Man, I mean, that is a tough question because sex is really important in a marriage, in a relationship.
It is.
And of course, you want to be there for better, for worse, and to see your spouse through. And like you said, Ms. King, to invest in what medical professionals do we need? How do we need to change our diet? You want to do everything, exhaust all options. But I don't know if it would be a reason for me to leave. I don't think I would leave. But what's our backup plan? How can we make sure everybody good? Because I mean that's a very
some type of arrangement,
right? Like you said, some arrangement because this is important.
Look, baby, okay, I'm gonna go over here. I'll be back now. I'm gonna go grocery shop and cook your food, but I gotta go see the man about the milk.
Right. Exactly.
I just want to say I applaud your honesty because a lot of times, like you said, you married for better or for worse, but it's realistic. It's just being like at your age in my 30s, if I was married for better or for worse, and he came home again, like you said, we exhaust all. Anything that we can do, we're going to try it, right? To see if we can get you back. But if it comes back, it's nothing we can do. We're going to have to talk about something else.
Exactly.
Like you said, I might have to get me a pool man, a milkman, something's happening. I'm not going to do it in your face. I may all of a sudden start taking out of town trips or something like that. Now, to answer that question for someone in their 50s, that's the one thing I'll tell you that I think a lot of women, once you reach 50, you have to be open-minded because due to 40 years before you met this person, health issues may occur, right? And I can only say this, that I know firsthand because I dated somebody and we waited the 90 days, right? There was no sexual activity. We dated. He was amazing. This guy made me fall in love with him. And then all of a sudden, I'm thinking, oh, it's about to happen. Like the music, I got music on, and it's the fire and the ice. And he looks at me, he says, "There's something I need to tell you." Well, what is happening right now? Can we talk about it now? It's been 90 days. I've been waiting all this time. What's happening, honey? Let me tell you. He had to tell me, like, I had some issues, and he literally said, "I have an appointment to go get a pill," And I was just like, what's a pill? We could have got the pill before this. What pill are we talking about? Like, I got really confused in this moment, but it was a real conversation. Now, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't leave him. I stayed with him. He was really good to me. He was a good person. And I'm grateful that we spent those 90 days together because it really gave me an opportunity to get to know him and fall in love with him. Okay, but of course, we're not still together right now. So that answers that second question. There you go. So Nicole says, listen, we're going to figure that thing out. There are things that can be done. So we're headed to the doctor. The older community is actually having a lot of sex. And I'm going to tell you, the older community is tearing it up in those old folks' homes. That blue pill is rocking it for them. Do you hear me? They are getting pumps, blue pills. They are living it up. And one thing they'll tell somebody, I can't have no babies, so we can do it all night long. They're not going through any cycles. They're good. And so Matt says it's not just men. Middle-aged men may leave and get a pool woman as well. Women get vaginal atrophy post 50.
Paper.
You know what? Matt, I got to do a disclaimer. Matt is a wonderful man and married to an exceptional woman. But Matt is one of those people, he's totally honest. And he's right. A lot of women in their 50s, they do go through that, right? And it's a challenge, especially when you're an older woman dating a younger guy who, you know, he's in his 30s and you're trying to keep up with them. So that's 100% correct. So, Reggie, by the way, we didn't miss you. We went to a ladies' conversation. Dr. Emmanuel's wife came in and just told him the truth. Obviously, he couldn't handle the truth. So he had to step away for a minute because she was like, baby, I'm going to keep it real. I love you. I love the children we have together. But if that penis stopped working, and we done went to all these doctors, and everybody's like, there's nothing we can do, she is going to get her a pool man, a milkman, or something. She didn't say, I'm leaving you. She just said, I'm going to have to get a little side piece to keep the activities right. But this is what she did, Reggie. She did one of these because he was sitting there. She was like, I don't even want to do it right now. It's so painful. I don't even want to do it. And he was looking like, and he was like, she is nervous about this. Like, he was like, what is she going to say? That was so funny. But I applaud you for doing it. Your husband's right there. So Reggie, how would you handle your spouse or person you're dating if they had health limitations that impacted your sex life? How would you handle that?
Well, I mean, to be honest, that's what diabetes is, and that's one of my battles. Is diabetes, unfortunately, men don't talk about this, but it affects your virility. Mm-hmm. When your diabetes is out of whack, you will have erectile dysfunction. It ain't even a question of when it's if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So going back to what we had spoken about earlier is those health limitations should be minimized with good diet, steady hydration of water, and workout. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't stop aging. You can slow it down. Mm-hmm. You can definitely slow it down. And the physical or sexual limitations that a couple goes through, you know, it's going to be par for the course, because when you're in your 50s and 60s, you know, when you was in your 20s and 30s, you was good all day, every day.
Right.
You know, ain't nobody. It's a whole bunch of men lying. I'm doing it every day. Mm-hmm. You know,
I think that's impossible, and I think you raised the good question. You can't do it every day.
And realistically,
right?
When you're in a committed relationship at this age, you need to have time to process different emotions that you're going through on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Get yourself emotionally ready for what you're thinking for physically, because even at a certain level of commitment throughout a relationship, as much as we were physical earlier, we have a tie-in emotionally as well. And a lot of that comes into how we feel about who we are in the relationship. Like, wow, she really gave it to me. I must be doing it for her. You know what I mean? That's how we feel we're appreciated.
So Reggie, going back to our original question, before you gave us your thesis, Matt came back with prostate cancer as well. And that's something that a lot of men don't talk about either, that once you get prostate cancer, it does impact what you're capable of doing. And when you reach your 50s, your 40s, that's an issue with men in their 40s. Oh, look at the baby. Okay, let's look at the baby. I'm sorry, viewers. We're just taking a few seconds. I just need to see. Oh, look at, okay, where's the 5-year-old? Because everybody wants to see. Oh, don't cry about it. Don't do it. Okay, Dr. Emmanuel, you're back.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Emmanuel, good job. I'm glad you know somebody had to take care of the baby. So, Dr. Emmanuel, by the way, we're not allowing you to answer that question. It's over. Let's go to question number 6. Because you're not leaving your wife. I don't even know what's happening. We won't even allow you to answer the question. We're going to go to our next question. our next question is, and again, people, this is just being serious, and that's one of the things that I like about when Reggie brought up the fact about diabetes, and then Matt talked about cancer, prostate cancer is real. So, do you think there's a correlation between health and physical attractiveness? And that's a yes. That's a yes and no question. So, King, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that there is a correlation between a person's health and their physical attractiveness?
Of course, yes.
Okay, Reggie.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Emmanuel.
Yes.
Okay, and what is Matt saying? Because I know Matt is writing something in chat over there. Matt said yes.
Not yet.
Oh, he didn't say anything. Okay, what did Nicole say?
Can I elaborate, Chris?
Oh, I know you do. Go right ahead.
It's yes for the physical aspect. It is a correlation. However, it's not the only attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't a question. That was a yes or no, because it goes beyond that. But I just need to know, like, initially, do you feel that it does? And the reason why I asked that question, Reggie, was because a lot of times we equate a person being overweight, healthier, like in size, with being unhealthy. And what I found is a lot of those people are not unhealthy. They're actually they're healthier than I am. They just happen to be a little bit more, meat on them. So Matt says yes, that he does think that there's a correlation between health and physical attraction. So and so the other thing is, one of the things that I learned from Matt was that he said to me today, Matt said, Christine, I think you're in the wrong market. If you were down south, you're a shapely woman, you would be a rock star, right? That's what he said to me. He said, you got that little waist and little hips going. He's like, you'll be a rock star. So Matt, I think you're right. I think I'm gonna have to go down south so I can get my husband. I'm not opposed to it. So, but the thing is that why do I have to move to get that option on the table, right? And the other thing is that when we look at physical health, I just want to say this for every woman out there, like myself, King, Dr. Emmanuel's wife. When a man approaches you and he wants you to look like Beyonce, but he looks like he's got a 6-month or 9-month-old baby inside of him growing, I just want to be clear, that's not sexy to me. I'm not interested in somebody who has this huge stomach and then you look at me as if I'm repulsive.
Yeah.
Because I don't look like Beyonce. I'm very offended by that. Yeah. And I don't know how you feel about that, King, but I'm looking at them like, you have the audacity. At least I'm attempting to walk and keep myself healthy, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, Dr. Mean, when men have unrealistic expectations on women?
Yeah, no, I think it's a terrible thing, and I think I've actually had guys that are single and married, and they see like how hard I go as far as like working out, and they're like, "Man, you got your woman, man. Why you still working out?" And I'm like, I don't get that. But again, I think you have to match each other's energy. But to answer that question directly, I just think that that's just a man that just has not been. He's not shaped his character enough to understand where women are at certain periods in their lives, right? And regardless of where she is, you definitely should never make anybody. And I think that goes both ways. You should never make anybody feel bad about themselves. If you're not attracted to them, you're not attracted to them. That's fine. Yeah. But again, what you say, and again, people words hurt, and it definitely comes out of your mouth makes a difference. So. Definitely don't believe in shaming anybody for sure.
I totally believe that. So King, what about you? Because you put a lot of time into what you do. So I'm just kind of curious, what your perspective is.
I mean, I agree. I agree that, the physical is very important. But it's way more than that. You know what I'm saying? But the initial physical is very important because ultimately, like I say, you want to have long life or longevity with anything that you're doing with anybody that you're with, so you want to be healthy, you and not just in size, you know what I'm saying, but just even internal, because like I'm physical fit or whatever now, but my story, I had lupus and kidney failure. you know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to be discriminated against because of you know, maybe my past um health issues that I've, you know, taken control of, because what if something else happens? You know what I'm saying? So I agree with Dr. Emmanuel.
And Dr. Emmanuel, just to let you know, your wife is just outstanding. She's so adorable.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And
We try.
she just to let you know, she didn't say she would leave you and get a pool boy or anything. That's not what she was saying. She said she would exhaust all resources. She made it clear, like whatever it took, she's in it. She said for better or for worse. So I just want to let you know, even though you walked away and you had to take care of the baby, she still had your back. She really did.
That's my girl. I
Um,
appreciate it.
you know, I just want to let you know that all you did, because look, she did go through her moment. Like I can't even answer this. She's sitting here.
Yeah.
I
Tough
loved her.
question.
That was really cute. But I love the way you guys do your co-parenting. You guys are working together, and I like how you support her. But also, I just want to keep it clear. She got some street cred. She did make it clear that she don't want to have to keep fighting on the street to prove her love, though. That you working out looking sexy, meaning she got to have a little street cred on her because she got to defend her marriage. So I just want to keep it clear.
She
Sister
reminds me.
said, right. She said, I didn't have these babies. I know these women are approaching my husband. I got to do
Right.
street cred and let them know I'm not playing with them. So I love her for that because she was real talk about that. So Reggie, of course, we always run over, and we didn't even do commercials this time. I didn't even put on commercials, right? Because I just wanted us to have a real conversation. Just to let you guys know, this is a conversation Reggie and I, we have all the time about different things, but mostly about, your physical appearance and your health and a level of attractiveness that you have towards another person. And when I say to you, I applaud him all the time that Reggie having diabetes was a huge mindset. It was a mindset shift, which caused him to do that because of a physical impact, right? The physical impact to his body, he had to change how he really looked at what he ate and what he did. And I applaud him for that. And he works really hard at it. So I just want to say, on behalf of all men out there, Reggie was honest about what he's going through and how it impacts him. Ladies, gentlemen, be honest with the person you're married to or potential mate, and just tell them I got diabetes, or I have prostate cancer, or I have erectile dysfunction, right? A person told me he told me, of course it was 90 days later, but I didn't walk out. I thought I was getting a surprise at the end of 90 days. I didn't know it was going to be a conversation like, he was like, can we just talk? I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? I don't want to talk about it. I'm naked. What has happened? I'm trying to make this happen. But that's what he did to me. But the thing is, I didn't leave him. So, ladies, I want us to be open-minded about our mates. Men, and to what Matt said, a lot of women, they experience vaginal dryness when they get over age 50 because they go through menopause. And by the way, anybody who's looking at me right now, that's not the case. That's not what's happening right here. This right here is like a 20-year-old. This is all like a 20-year-old. This is still magic. There's nothing happening. This is a lot of magic happening, honey. So, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to do a shout out. And my girl Nicole said, "Oh, Christine, there's someone out here for you. Trust me, they are men who are looking for what you have. You better go, Nicole. Same thing for you, Nicole." And that's one of the things that I'm really excited about in doing this platform, because it just makes me laugh quite often when I find that men or women make a quick decision on whether or not they're going to be with someone based on physical appearance or limitations within it. So I want to say thank you to our guests. Reggie and I had a great time. I really appreciate you guys coming on, and I like that we had a real conversation. Dr. Emmanuel, of course, you're welcome to come back anytime. Anytime. If you guys ever see a topic that you want to come back on the show, I would love to have. And by the way, I would like to have Mr. and Mrs. Emmanuel on, or Dr. and Mrs. Emmanuel on, because, honey, your wife stole the show. I just want to say that. She stole
right.
I tell her I need her back for Ladies Talk.
Where
basically Reggie is going to be on by himself with 3 ladies, and we're just going to get them. We're going to crush Reggie because it's going to be real talk about what women want.
Don't do a guy like that.
Thank you for having me, Miss Christine. I talk about some of these type of issues in my magazine. We have a sex health and education platform in a area in my magazine. So this gives me more topics to talk about. So thank you for having me.
I need that magazine.
You
Check
are
that magazine
so
out.
so thank you, King, for coming on. And so listen, before we go, can you please talk about your company and what
Yes.
you do, where your product can be located?
Okay, so first my name is Antasia. I know it's like Anastasia.
Right.
So it's Antasia. So my family, we own a condiment business. I have a multi-purpose barbecue sauce in 70 stores in Michigan. It's called Mr. Levi's Mighty Fine Soul Sauce. It's a recipe stemmed down from my great grandfather to my father. And yeah, so we're in Myers. I got in Myers today, the new Myers on Jefferson. And I'm in a few other Myers, Holiday Market, a lot of other stores. So you can go to thesoulsauce.com and all the stores will come up. Also, I have a magazine called Beautiful Machine Magazine. It's an online magazine. I advertise for just about everybody in the city, whether it's Converse, Shinola, your local salon, nail tech, car shop, whatever it is, dental office. We advertise it in a magazine.
So I'm going to tell you, King, me and Nicole, we both said that we want to be in the magazine. I'm trying to get the cover though. So I want to keep it
get the
real.
cover. You do a lot. You've been doing a lot for a long time, Miss Lady.
I'm
I
trying to.
know you.
I know, and that's the thing. People don't know. She has known me for years. But I'm going to tell you right now, Nicole, I'll fight you for the cover. Okay, Nicole? I will fight you for that cover. Nicole, listen, congratulations. Great show. And I love all my friends. They do a lot of support. Thank you so much, Matt. He said it was a great show. He enjoyed it. And Nicole knows this. Matt means, he says, he knows this means a lot to me because I call myself Magic. And he says, magic. And I love it. So, Dr. Man, let's tell people, like, what do you do? And like, I always push people's businesses. I think that's so important.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So for me, it's kind of a multi-purpose thing. So not as far as career-wise, I am a director for the Houston Independent School District, which is the seventh largest school district in the nation. And outside of that, and during that time frame, I run mentoring program, non-academic programs for the school district here, mentoring young men and women, just trying to help them with their character, personal development, and to pursue greatness after high school. And then outside of that, my wife and I run our own cleaning business as well, and commercial cleaning business, as well as our own vending machine business. And my wife is an amazing photographer, so under that is the E-Man Investment Group. And so we look and invest into small businesses. I just also wrote my first book, The Value of a Mentor, which can be found on www.emaninvestmentgroup.com. And I can also be found on social media at Derek Eman19. And so that is what we do a little bit.
So I'm going to tell you, Dr. May, I'm going to have you on my other podcast called the Educators Roundtable. Okay. And you'll be getting my request for that because I think what you do in your school district, and just let you know, I just do research on everybody. When Reggie sent it over to me, I did look into it. And I really want you to talk about not only your book, but what you guys are doing that's transformational in the district. And I think that's something for people to watch and look at. So that's my Wednesday podcast. So I can't wait to have you on there. But I'm going to tell you, you guys are two rock star, amazing guests. Reggie knows how much I love him and how much I really appreciate him being the person that he is. He's an excellent husband and father. Excellent. Awesome. But listen, Dr. Emmanuel, on behalf of myself and the engineer here, could you please ask your wife to take new photos of Reggie? Because the ones that we have, he looks like he just left prison release. Honestly. And tell her, don't even be short on it.
Gotcha. Well, we take our trip back to North Carolina. We'll make sure we take care of that.
Honey, I'm going to need that photo retouched up. And now let me throw out Nicole. Nicole said she has an etiquette school. And I'm going to tell you right now, she is rock star amazing. She's a really good girlfriend of mine. She's located here. And not only that, she does, I operations for a lot of different companies. She's a consultant where she manages their operations, processes, and procedures for them. So I'm doing a shout out to her. She will have a commercial that will be on next week. That'll be playing. And I didn't play any commercials, not even my own today, because the conversation we were having was so real. And once your wife came into play, I was like, forget the commercials. We just need to have a conversation. So, I mean, to my sponsors, and I do apologize, we didn't play any commercials today, but we just had to have a real conversation. Reggie, what's your closing notes to everybody?
If it was powerful enough to attract you, keep the attraction going. Stay physically fit, stay personally attractive, and stay attractive in your relationship.
Oh my gosh, I love that, Reggie. I mean, for the first, I want to do a virtual hug right now. Oh my God. That's like, everybody, that's like the sweet, right? That's
Right.
like, you see, I had to move up. I was like, is that Reggie talking? Oh my God, Reggie, I love that. Oh my God, you're so adorable right now in this moment. I'm going to have to tell your wife, give you a hug just for me. Like, that's like special. And I have nothing to add to that because I think that is important all the way around. I think that, we need to also be, I don't know, like, you know, like Dr. Mayo's wife said, she's going to go through everything she has to go through to make sure that they're good, right? And he's good, that she's not going to just walk away from him. So I think people need that, better for worse, that we talked about, Reggie. People need to really think about that because it does happen. And I'm going to say, you know, King went through some things that caused some health issues. And I'm going to tell you, she went through it like a trooper and came out even better, you know, and I'm very proud of her. She's an excellent mom. She's an awesome entrepreneur, and she just has a really great personality, and she works really hard at maintaining that. She really does. So I'm going to say to everybody, thank you so much. And as we close out the 5 F's to love, I want us to take away this. Sometimes you're in those moments and you don't realize how important it is for you to stay focused in your relationship. That sometimes that physical attraction that brought you in may not be the same 10 or 15 years. As Dr. Emanuel's wife said, I've had children and some things have changed. So I may not look the same. But are we willing to walk away from that marriage? Are we willing to bring someone else into that equation and jeopardize that? Because that's something that we need to truly think about. And do we have unrealistic expectations? One of the things that King shared is that you want to work hard at it, but you also want to understand that there are going to be some things that you have to consider or take in consideration, like major things. Her having a health issue like lupus, maybe someone that was with her maybe would have decided, no, that's too much work. I'm not willing to invest that time into her. Reggie's wife did not walk away from him when he said, okay, I have diabetes and it may affect, you know, how we are intimately. She stayed with him and she supported him, and he continued to work at improving his health during that time and still continues to do that. So I'm going to say, for every woman out there who may have a couple extra pounds, or every man who's walking around thinking, oh, that's not okay, or every man who's walking around with a couple extra pounds, women, men, you got to really think about it. What's more important, compatibility or a person's physical attraction? Would you rather them be healthy, or would you rather be physically attracted to them? Me personally, I kind of want to split between both. I want that guy that does it for me, that makes me smile even on a bad day. And sometimes it's his smile that's going to get me there. So again, thank you for watching the 5 F's to Love. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to us and also follow us. And catch us on our podcast audio, which is on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts, and several other platforms. We're expanding every week. And if you would like to be on the show, please send me a message and we will get back to you. And if you would like to be a sponsor on the show, please let us know. We always advertise our local businesses and businesses across the United States. And thanks again for watching the 5 F's to Love.
Mira que me falte tu piel, ¿qué será? ¿Qué será de mí? No seas parte de mi amanecer, ¿qué será? ¿Qué será de mí? Y por todo yo brindo, desde lo feo hasta lo lindo. Tú eres una prueba que el mundo a mí nunca me brindó. Quería casarme, yo tan loco.